So now, after whipping,
Yeah, after you've got your ball of dough,
we cover it for how long, Mummu?
well, until this tea towel starts popping up.
Oh, okay.
You'll see. We put a tea towel over it and put a
plastic bag.
plastic bag.
All right.
Oh God, that's not big.
I love technology.
That is not big enough. Let's see now.
What's your young dad doing wrong here? Why am I not getting a TV picture here?
Cable box on?
Yeah.
Is the input on the TV right?
YTV PR, yeah. Why am I not getting TV?
Switch channels. Go up a channel. Tap in 03.
Okay, there. See? And now you put your baby to sleep and it's gonna, the dough is gonna rise up.
How long does it take for it to rise, you think?
I would say 20 to 40 minutes, about 30 to 40 minutes.
30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, and then we'll start rolling it out.
All right. All right, so we got doughy, not sticky at all.
No,
No
doesn't stick at all.
Doesn't stick at all.
Now I gotta get some pan. Is 2 cups of milk,
2 cups of milk,
half a cup of sugar,
half a cup of sugar,
2 all beef patties.
3/4 of, okay, what would it be? 6 tablespoons, these are tablespoons, these lines. I use about 6 tablespoons of butter,
okay.
this much.
Okay.
It's put in the milk to warm up and melt, along with a dash of salt. I always put a dash of salt in there. This is warm now.
Okay.
Stick your finger in it. You'll see. It's actually too warm. But
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely warm.
that's definitely warm.
It's definitely
Okay.
warm.
Then we have 2 eggs whipped up.
2 eggs.
In here is
What's in here?
a tablespoon of dry yeast,
A tablespoon of dry yeast,
half a teaspoon of sugar,
half a teaspoon of sugar,
and about 1/8 of a cup of lukewarm water.
1/8 of a cup of lukewarm water.
And your yeast is rising now.
Okay.
Okay.
How long has this been sitting?
Oh, this has been sitting here about 10 minutes now.
10
It takes 10 to 20 minutes to come up. It'll fill the bowl.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to take this pot full with the milk
Mm-hmm.
and the sugar and the butter and the salt in the bottom of the bowl underneath here.
Okay.
I have a tablespoon of cardamom seed,
Cardamom seed.
ground up powdered cardamom seed.
Ground.
Not the seed itself, but it's ground into a powder.
Okay.
Okay, this is my mixer that I make it with. Turn it on. Now, our milk is a little bit too hot, so I'll start adding some flour to it to cool it off.
How much flour?
I use about 7 to 8 cups by the time I'm done.
Okay.
This is just to cool the milk off a little bit because it got a little too hot. All right, now the 2 beaten eggs.
In we go.
In we go. I leave a tablespoonful in the bowl,
Okay.
and that's for a reason you'll see later on.
Alright. Secret
Okay.
steps.
Now we'll put another cup of flour in here.
Ooh. That's good creamy.
Nice, huh?
Oh yeah.
And
What's in here again?
that's yeast.
Yeast.
That's the yeast. Without yeast, your bread isn't going to go anywhere. Now, give me this guy. And normally, if you don't have a mixer like this, you could be doing these steps with a whisk.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I don't
it-
have one of these fancy
Yeah.
things.
Well, the thing is, okay, there goes the yeast.
Good yeast.
There goes the yeast. And that was what, 2 cups of flour?
Mm-hmm.
This is 3. This is 4. Just let it mix and blend up. And this is the best thing in the world. You just keep, and then I have an, oh God, where's my other one? Oh. This guy is even better. This is the best.
Plastic.
Yeah, it's pliable, you know, soft. What did I say, 4?
Yeah, 4.
5. 6.
6. And
Oh, just let it mix in between. It's so simple to throw together. In the old days,
girls will be so impressed that I can do this.
in the old days, what the grandmothers did, they had a big stoneware bowl, and they would start out with a fork, like I told you. You could do the first part of it with a fork, and then when it gets stiff enough, and you'll see, I'll tell you when. That's when you get in there with your hands and knead it.
Oh, that's when it gets dirty.
That's when it gets dirty. Yeah. I did it for years by hand until I thought that's nuts, and I started doing with a machine. Mind you, I have ruined, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these machines.
Oh, dang.
God, you're hard on
Burned
your
out the
equipment,
motors.
Mummu.
Huh?
You're hard on your equipment.
Oh yeah.
Lots of pulla.
Yeah. You see, now that's starting to look a little bit like dough, but it's far from it. Okay, here goes number 7.
Number 7 goes.
Yeah. And just very low as, well, of course, mind you, like I say, you don't have the machine, so.
When I whip it, you want to do it really slow.
Yeah, and then when it gets to be kind of stiff, then you get your hands in there and you do the last bit by hand.
Not what she said.
This guy. I got that on videotape. I'm so happy.
Hey, Mom. As far as I'm concerned, this whole collection of cable here, next time I come and we're going that way, it can all go with
Okay.
the head going. We don't need it anymore.
Well, just put them all in a bag and put them in the hall closet.
It's accumulated in there. We have no use for them.
Okay.
Oh, I see it. Oh, wow. We're making dough.
We're making dough now. We're to the dough stage. Now
That's
that,
very dough, boy.
yeah, 7 cups of flour is plenty. At least for this batch.
And then
you know.
you're gonna put this in the oven, right? Is that
No,
it?
no, it has to rise first.
Oh.
Your dough has to rise. And that's why I wanted to get this started. And then once it's risen, it usually takes, 30 to 40 minutes to rise. And then we'll make the loaves. You can watch me make the loaves. And,
Awesome.
yeah. But see now
The more instructions you say on this, the better.
yeah, you see, you just, if by any chance someday you might own a machine, you just got to make sure that it's very well blended. This will work its way in there, this little bit.
How much
This,
does a machine like this cost?
oh, these sunbeams with the dough hooks, you can pick these up probably in the States for $80, $90. I mean, if you start getting into those big fancy ones like your mother has,
Yeah.
then we're talking $300-400.
Yeah.
We bought her one of those machines, and I don't think she's ever used
Probably
it.
not.
Yeah, sitting there.
No, but I've been eating Eggo waffles for 12 years. Every morning, that's her cooking.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I didn't realize how bad those were for me until like I got older, but I ate those probably every day for like a long time.
What, Eggo waffles?
Yeah.
Oh my
My
God.
mom would put those in the
Toaster?
toaster and send me
That's
off
it.
to school.
Okay, you see now that most of the flour is pretty well used up. It's when you're making a dough like this, eventually your fingers or nothing will stick to it, and then you kind of know that it's mixed enough. Let's put it that way. I'll show you the. See, when you put your fingers on it, see, it's still sticking. It's not ready yet.
Yeah.
It's not ready. When it doesn't stick to your finger, then you basically know that it's. I could probably put another half a cup of flour in there, but that's not.
Definitely. I'm gonna make pulla, Mummu. Just watch me.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be the first one to do it.
You're gonna be the first one.
Yeah. Has Dad made it?
Oh, are you kidding?
Oh.
He's so damn pampered, it's not even funny.
I think.
He goes home with it.
I just want to be the first one to remake it. And just,
He's the first. He's so spoiled when he comes. He's got his stash in the freezer there that goes home with him. Okay, come on now. That could have probably used another quarter cup of flour, but I'm not going to bother. See, it's starting to get there. It sort of makes a ball.
Can we open the window?
No,
No, hold on.
absolute. Close it
Close it.
until I'm done with pulla. You know darn well that
make sure you close the windows. Major
you
thing.
can't have a draft when you're working.
Get that Stephen on the video.
Yeah.
Close the window.
Yes. No drafts.
Have you ever, well, of course, neither one of you have actually really been in a bakery, but it doesn't matter. If you go into a bakery where they're actually working,
Yeah.
you're going to find it's hotter than Hades,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you cannot have a draft when you're working
is
with
that?
yeast. Yeast and drafty windows just, they don't like, the
Okay.
yeast won't work properly.
Okay.
It does not like
It
draft.
won't get as good as this.
No. And I think you'll find too that, well, mind you, beer is so done in huge modern vats now, but years ago when they used to make homemade beer,
Yeah.
it's the same thing because they're using yeast.
Yeah.
You can't have a draft.
Okay.
See now, look at this is getting,
I mean, they have draft beer, but.
yeah.
We're not going to be watching any movie tonight anyways because the hockey game's on tonight.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to put Mummu's table back.
Okay.
Okay, this is, I would say this is pretty well done, my dear.
Let me feel.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Oh.
Okay, stick your finger on it. Don't be afraid.
Okay.
Okay, see? It isn't sticking much.
Yeah, not too sticky.
No.
It's a little sticky, but
A
not
little
so-
bit, but
But
not-
I mean, it's
yeah.
not that much.
No. But you can see it's kind of silky and smooth.
Yeah.
It's a round ball,
Yeah.
so that's pretty well it.
Okay.
Okay, so that is your first big step in putting the dough together. And
There we go.
Oh.
First step.
that's the first step.
The secret. We
Yeah.
left egg for a reason, people.
Yes, for a reason.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
then-
What's this tool?
This is your brush.
Your brush.
It's a pastry brush.
Pastry brush.
Yes.
He
Okay.
tried to blame it on the component cables.
I saw it.
Okay.
Did you get it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Nice.
After he finally did what he should have done in the first place, reboot the box.
Yeah, that's what I thought we had to do, but I think we could have done that from home, from the back, honestly. You think there's a reset button on the cable box?
No, they have to do it in
Oh, wow.
their stuff.
Yeah, that's why I don't mess with cable companies.
See. This is
You save the money and the headache.
you don't really have to do this, but I do.
It makes them taste better.
They're nice and
Do you
glossy.
only put the egg on the rolls and not on the...
Oh, on everything.
Oh, on everything.
Yeah, on everything.
So
Yeah.
we gotta get a paintbrush and put it on here.
Yeah. Pastry brush.
Pastry brush, not a
Pastry
paintbrush.
brush. It's got to be, really soft on this soft dough, eh? This dough is very soft,
Very soft.
so you don't want to. How can I say it?
These look like almost like cinnamon rolls.
Well, it is very similar to cinnamon rolls, only it's done in individual little buns. Now, do you want to take that cloth off of there for me?
Do it.
I
Let's see
guess
what
I
we
did
got.
them all.
Woo!
See, they're starting to come up already.
Look at that roll. Look at that roll.
Okay. But the thing that you're going to have a problem with is finding the cardamom seeds. I should give you some to take home with you.
Yeah, I need a cardamom seed.
Yeah, cardamom seed, that's what makes the
I
flavor.
could probably buy them off Amazon, but
Yes, more than likely, but it's got to be ground that you get. There's the seed, there's the pod, there's the seed, and there's the
How do you spell
ground.
cardamom?
Oh, C-A-R.
Spell check.
C-A-R-D-O-M, just the way it is.
C-A-R-D-O-M.
Cardamom.
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 Major key.
It's
Major key.
It's actually okay. Now, what we do next? The dough has risen.
The dough has risen.
The dough has risen,
All right.
and sprinkle some flour on the counter because you don't want it sticking all over the place. I have an old knife that I use when the dough comes. You got to take it out of here. Hold it like this, and with a big knife, start at the upper edge here, and it'll slowly slide out of here. You just work your way. I have a good friend of mine who's passed away in Ontario, and her son was an electrical engineer in Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
And he made this, he used to go way up into the North Country with his job, back and forth to Saskatoon and back up to the job. And he would make pulla at home and take it to his buddies up in where they were way
That's
up.
what I wanted to study.
What, engineering?
Electrical engineering specifically.
Yeah, that's what Rick was. Yeah, he's gone too. He was only about.
They don't offer it at my university.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. But they have no engineering at all.
Okay.
Hold on.
Gotta get the whole thing out of here.
Mom,
Yeah.
please, I'm trying to talk. Here, get some help. Okay, so I'm out in the living room
Okay.
now.
So
And
we're making the bulla.
Yeah. The dough comes out of the
hold on.
bowl.
All right.
Well, my selections are TV, AV,
Okay.
YPB, PR. Okay, that's what I thought. Oops, hold on.
Oh wow, you got it all out of there.
Oh yeah. You just gotta.
Input
After
again.
50 years of practice, I think I should know, huh?
Yeah, I think.
I would love to know somehow.
Uh-oh,
How
it's falling
many-
over the counter.
Oh.
Push it back.
Just move it over.
Alright.
So this is the TV in the living room. It's on that
There we go.
PR right now.
It's sticking
and
a
matter
little
of
bit. Don't
few
be
seconds
afraid.
Here, it's got the TV screen. It'll say no signal, and your box is on.
Oh, here we go.
We're not getting any picture in the living room.
Smells like bulla.
Oh yeah, it's on. Yeah, the
There's
green,
your
big
dough.
green oval is lit up and everything. We've got the green little green
So
light,
how many
green
loaves
light
would this
on.
make?
I'll make two loaves, but I'm going to make a bunch of individual buns, that you guys can take on the road tomorrow. Your dad loves those. He fell in love with the small buns in Europe. They make a
No,
lot of them over there.
we didn't move any of the component
Okay.
connections at all. We didn't touch the components from your box to my
Okay.
TV.
Okay.
So that's about one loaf right there.
Yeah, these are two loaves here.
I know I was working on that.
I divide the
YPBR
dough
before.
into what you have to have sort of a plan
Right.
what kind of pans you're gonna put it on.
Yeah.
Put it on
So this is
AV
for the
here.
little buns.
Nothing.
This is
Signal.
for the
Right, TV.
loaves I'm gonna make. Now the loaves are very simple.
Yeah, I want to know how you make the texture, you know? How do you make the loaf?
How I make a loaf. Okay, just
Roll it out.
roll it out into a long string.
It's saying no signal right now.
Powder's your friend.
It's on
If your
input.
hand starts sticking, you put a little bit more dough on it.
How long this is?
Okay, we're on definitely
long as you
on
can get it.
DR, and on the TV.
If it starts sticking, just put a little bit of flour on the counter.
The green light's on, the blue light's on, but no picture.
Okay, now that's about as long as I can make here.
Yeah.
Grab it in the middle.
Yeah.
Pinch in the middle. Oh, hold it. Ooh. Oh, I see what she's.
See?
Okay, hold on.
This is what you call the lazy way of doing it. Pick it up. There you go.
There's one loaf.
There's one loaf, just like that.
Boom.
And we will
Another
do,
one.
We will do 2 on there. This one's got a little more dough in it.
I'm gonna go to your box. And we didn't touch the box here or
This
anything.
isn't that hard to make.
All we
No.
used last night
Dad's
was
lazy.
HDMI.
Dad's lazy.
Input. From
I
one
told
of
you
my
he's
laptops.
spoiled. He's been spoiled all his life when it comes to all this stuff. From the
I
time
can
he
make this. I don't have the videos.
Now I'm checking
The video, it's a lot more easy, trust me.
Yeah,
Very good.
he's been spoiled ever since he was little.
Oh, this would be a little bit bigger loaf.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit bigger. There's a little more dough in this one.
And then you
Grab
go pinch it,
in the middle.
and then you go right,
Yeah.
left. I just keep wrapping it. Right,
Just
right, right, right. Ooh. Then you just pinch it in the end,
Yeah, pinch the end.
and then whoop. Pew.
There you go. On there.
Another one.
Okay, and now
Okay, I've
where's
got
my
another
tea
one
towel?
here. Hang on.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. No, we can't use HDMI
There
because
we
we
are.
had nothing but
Now-
problems when we
now
tried
I'm
to
gonna
use your
make the-
HDMI.
The little buns.
You got your technology is what year did you say it's from, Steven?
2008.
2008, my son says. Your technology is not up to snuff here. I've got another set of component cables here. Hold on.
There. This is the greatest thing on the face of the earth
Alright, so we're making cocaine.
for cleaning up messes. For cleaning up messes, I tell you. Okay,
Alright.
now
Disconnect.
this is a little bit more.
So this is gonna be. What are you gonna make with this?
A little buns. Your
I've
little.
got the two small ones for sound, and
You
got
roll it out into a large
for your video.
Yeah, rectangle
Yeah, I
like
know this
this.
stuff, believe me. I know how this stuff works. Okay.
This is going to be a bunch of
Blue to
little,
blue on the TV and red to red on the TV. All right, now I'm going to go change it on the back of your box. Hold on.
Can't believe it's not butter.
Can't believe it's not butter. You can
So why'd you put the towel back on these loaves?
Because they got to rise a little bit again.
Oh, okay.
By the time I finish.
Why didn't you float it all the way?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I
I
guess.
thought there was maybe an idea there.
No
I'm
idea.
trying to get all the details.
Okay.
Okay, so now I've connected the new
No,
set
they
of
just need
cables,
to rise a little bit.
and we
You
have
butter
no
this
picture.
big rectangle.
This is for loaves.
Mm.
This is for rolls or whatever.
Okay, hold on.
I never bothered much with little buns, but yeah.
So
you're-
how long and what temperature do you put it in the oven for?
350, usually about 20 to 25 minutes.
And then after you take it out of the oven, what do?
You eat it.
You you don't let it cool for a certain amount of time.
Oh yeah, you should let it cool because it's quite doughy, you know. If you don't.
Yeah.
Now, where's my cinnamon?
Just the one in the living room you're gonna do, or both of them?
Cinnamon.
Okay, yeah, the one in
Cinnamon.
the living room.
Sprinkle.
Have you ever made the rolls
Hold
with
on, let me
cinnamon
verify
sugar?
that in the bedroom.
Have you ever made those with
Hold on,
cinnamon
let me go
sugar?
look.
That's what we're doing right now.
Oh.
This is with the cinnamon and sugar.
Why don't you put it in those?
Those are just plain loaves.
Oh.
It's just to have pulla on hand.
So like with those, you put it on top. Like,
Yeah. After when you slice
These
it.
are. This is like the
These are
complete
gonna,
dish.
yeah, these are going to be ready-made buns with sugar and cinnamon in them. You'll see.
I like this idea.
Okay, hold on. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you're
your dad
definitely
loves
on
these.
YPVPR.
Come on. God, it's.
Yeah.
What's the matter with this thing? It's not sprinkling for me. Come
Okay,
on.
hold on here. I gotta turn it so I can see it here.
I'm gonna make this
okay,
Mummu.
it's
With Sunner,
yeah.
you just
it's in
wait.
the rebooting process right now. I see 3
Well,
circles on the
I'll
screen.
give you some of these to take with you.
I want to take a picture
now
of
they
your
went
recipe
away.
too. That makes have all the ingredients. Cause your recipe, do you have a recipe card that has all
Yes,
this?
yes,
Okay,
yes, I
and
have.
now it says
The
on
only
the
thing
TV,
is,
no
my
signal.
recipe card is 50 years old, and you should see how dirty it is.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's flashing.
Sugar bowl.
But I did see 3 round circles. They went away, and now it says
Now
no
we sprinkle
signal.
the sugar
Sugar.
and the cinnamon. And
By the way, if we get disconnected here, call me back, okay? 604-421-2300.
okay, that looks pretty good. Okay,
We need to get that
now
hockey game out here in the
you
living
start-
room. Otherwise, one of your technicians is
you
working
start
overtime
from
tonight.
this side here.
Okay, now it says
See,
tell us.
just with your fingers,
That's a good thing. I know. I've gone through this before. with
and
this
you
one.
just start rolling.
Yes, absolutely. Now, okay, now it's going through what I would say is the rebooting process.
Man, he's such a savage on the phone.
Yes, that's gone now. Okay, now it's back
He's
on.
mad
It's
because he
initializing.
had to wait so long for them to answer the phone. But that's typical of TELUS.
Yeah.
Oh, their service is just.
And you guys need to get into the 21st century.
If you knew how many times we've had to have them over here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just.
Oh,
I mean,
not
I'm
even
just saying,
problem.
like,
You would lose-
when you
you
talk
would
to
lose the
people, if you
signal,
get yell at them, it doesn't help you anymore.
Quite
It kind of
often.
hurts
I
the
know.
service.
That's what he tells me, but yet he does it himself.
I've had so many
Okay,
technicians, I've
now.
lost track.
You bring it over, you make a roll,
You know,
a big long
Malcolm
roll.
Smith is his name, the supervisor that's
Tuck
out
it.
here. And
Tuck
he
it,
explained
tuck
it to
it,
me,
tuck
and like I
it.
say, I understand this stuff pretty good, okay?
Okay,
And
Oh, wow.
I can see
You
what
got the
issues
drift of
are with
this?
Mhm.
digital TV, you know,
Okay.
with
I see
all
what
the
you're
different
doing.
brands and everything,
I see what
you
you're
know,
doing.
and trying to get things to communicate
I
with
see.
one
I see
another.
you.
now this is
Yeah.
getting a
Roll it
little.
out.
So
This
many
is
different
getting a
circuit
little bit
boards out
sticky,
there.
so I'm gonna have to go like
Get
so.
some more.
Still initializing.
There we are.
So that's good, I know that, because otherwise we wouldn't
All
see
right,
this and
now
your
I
box
need a
wasn't
sharp
doing
knife.
anything.
Where's my knife? Oh, here it is.
Okay, now the screen went dark, now
Use
something's
this
happening
guy.
here.
Ooh, got the knife.
Now,
Uh-oh, put the
Now,
knife down, Mummu.
now
Swing
from
it
here we
standard.
start making buns.
Well, that's not on until 5 o'clock.
This is just a little end piece that's gonna go on.
Alright, I'm gonna go to channel
Another
100.
one.
Hold on.
All right, now what's the matter with this guy that it's?
And another one.
Okay,
And
we're
then
back
just-
up and running.
Squish it.
And another one.
Well, I'm gonna put the old ones back on right now before you say goodbye to me. Hold on.
You cut them on an angle.
We're gonna go back to the
Sort of
other
on
ones
an
here.
angle.
Okay, we lost signal, that's normal because I just unplugged them.
Punch it down, and then your sides. You see how they sprout out?
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Okay, so I've taken off my
And
set
another
number
one.
2. I'm gonna put the originals back on now on the side of my TV. Okay, hold on. Green to green.
And another one.
And we drop them. If I push them through any harder, they're gonna end
Look at all
up in
those rows.
Alberta.
Look at all them rows. I'm going ham.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And then you let them kind of rise a little bit.
We'll reuse
Another
the
one.
original set that was
Oops,
on
here
here.
a little bit too
The
close.
back of your box, green to green,
Got
blue
8
to
of 'em.
blue.
See how many
and
she
red
gets
to
out of
red.
this.
Hmm.
See how many you can make out of this. I think you're gonna run out of room. I don't know. We'll
Okay,
see. We'll see.
and
You're gonna get this on point.
picture is back. It says search live TV.
Am I
is
gonna get
selected
this
right
all on
now.
here?
Yeah, I
Oh
don't-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, missed.
So I'm gonna hit back to
There.
TV, okay?
Got it.
Okay, just went
Got it.
away. Let's pull up the guide, see if that works.
You need a very sharp knife if you're gonna cut
Looks
these
like things are back to
buns.
normal.
It's got to be a sharp knife.
And that explains all the
Yes.
thumb cutting.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yeah.
Explains
There's
all the thumb cutting.
there's one
How many
here.
times have you cut yourself making bulla?
I really couldn't even begin to tell you.
Alright, so I'm gonna wear gloves.
There we are.
My what? No. No, we don't do that.
Now, stick you
Check
there.
this channel here.
Ooh, we got one more little piece here. Where are we
We
gonna
on
put you?
here. Those aren't gonna all make blend
Looks
in?
like it's working.
Oh, they will.
Oh, and then
yeah,
you just cut them again?
Yeah, you just kind of break them apart.
Okay.
So there's
Alright.
there's your little cinnamon buns.
There we go. We got the cinnamon buns. We got the bullas.
Now, these have to rise for a while.
How long?
See-
What do you leave these for now?
Oh, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
And